First, we'll spin for our color. And the color is orange. And the style we're going to do it in is clown, of course. Because we're doing clown makeup and, I want to. I already went and covered my brows. I didn't do a video on that because there's a ton of really great videos out there on the internet. Figured that I didn't need to make another video that was not as great, to be honest. So if you want to learn, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of great videos out there. If you want to learn from me, let me know and I can put a video up. But wow. So I'm using the One Size Secure the Blur. Gotcha. I just don't know where my MAC primer is, but I won't be wearing this for super long today. And I'm just going to be putting that in one of the spots where I really have a lot of texture, which is unfortunately a lot of my face. And this helps smooth out a lot of texture. And then, so once you have a nice base of it where you need it, I don't think you have to put it all over your face unless you really want to, or you have texture that you want to blur. You can pat it into those places. Now, do not put it on your brows. It will break down that um, glued down brow. Put on if you glue down your brows like I did, because I'm letting them grow back in because I can't decide if I want to shave them half off again or all off, or I don't know. It's just a tricky situation that nobody else but me cares about. So I know I have a lot of texture going on underneath my chin. That's my cross to bear. So, but anywhere where I have a lot of texture, I like to really press this in. Like really take my time with it. Can't express that enough. Okay, so I saw someone who was talking about applying their foundation with a spatula, and that intrigued me because because I'm doing clown makeup, I'm using Ben Nye Clown White, and there are white foundations out there that are liquid based and a little bit easier to get that even coverage. However, I am a Clown White user. I was raised. Um, so I've been using this for a very long time. So but I've been wanting to experiment with some different ways to apply clown white. So I was like, let me try the spatula method and see how it works. So with a cream, it's that's absolutely terrible. You're gonna use so much product trying to ice your face like a cake. Like it's not even. It's not like it's that's no, that's a terrible idea. However, maybe applying it to certain parts of the face, like some people like to apply their foundation, might not be a terrible idea. And then I am going to use it to delicately go over my brows. Because the thing is, the smoother what you put over your brows is, the easier it is to get that really crisp, nice, smooth finish when you have covered your brows. Because brows are finicky. They're fucking hard. Like, people talk about them like they're so easy and everyone's mastered them. a lot of people have mastered them and they're amazing, but they are very difficult. So, especially when you don't do them all the time. So, if you're having a hard time, don't be too hard on yourself. They're very difficult. Like, I used to for not that much of my face. That's bullshit. So I'm going back to using a sponge, which is my tried and true. I will use an off-brand beauty blender, as I want to do with my Clown White, but then I can kind of push it into the skin, especially in places where I'm not worried about the security of the brow as much, and I can really push it in, stamp it in. You don't want to smear and drag cream makeup. That's a big thing because it's going to get streaky. No matter how good your makeup is, it's going to be streaky if you don't stamp it in. Make it that much, but over the brows, it did a good job. Really applying like a hefty amount, but you use a ton of product. So maybe it's good for something, but for this, not the tea. You should do your ears. I hate the process of when I'm taking off my makeup, cleaning out my ears. So I do my ears, so they're gonna look super red. Just imagine my ears are whiter. Be really, really gentle over the brows. And I don't mean that you have to like not stamp harder. I just mean that you can't just like pat over the brows. You have to be a lot more cognizant. If you have a ton of nose piercings and face piercings like I do, take a little time to get around them. Okay. Also, we're gonna have color and things on top of this, so it being one flat sheet of white isn't incredibly important, but it does help. Now, usually I use Ben Nye Super White setting powder, but I don't know where that is. So I will be using the RCMA colorless powder because normal translucent powder does um, not go on completely translucent or completely unnoticeable, I should say, with white. Now, I'm not putting any on my eyelids because my eyelids tend to crease a lot. So when I use this as an eye base, it still tends to crease a lot on me, even if I've done everything else right. So I'm not really putting a ton on my eyelids themselves. I'm also not doing my neck because I can to clean up. I'm lazy, y'all. But yeah, you could go down your neck, you could end it at your neck, you could do a black neck or different color neck or anything else like that. That's totally up to you. I'm not dad. I'm just saying what I'm doing so you know. Now, I am gonna take a small concealer brush. Well, this says large concealer. This is from Makeup Academy. I think this used to be sold at like CVS or something, but I saw the shape and I was like, you must be. I've had this brush for years and years and years and years. I think. Have I? I don't know. Feels like I have. A lot of my brushes I've had for a very, very long time because if you take care of your brushes, they will take care of you back. I did start recently using Cinema Secrets, the makeup brush cleaner. It's very good. It does a great job. It's been in the industry for a million years. I just didn't try it, and I finally got the chance to try it, and I was like, this stuff is good. And then I still want to do my normal cleaning of my brushes in between people, even though some people do use this in between people, and I found that they don't have a problem. Um, but but for me, I find it really really works well. I'm getting a little bit more white. I'm gonna take this and go into the nooks and crannies of the places that need to be gone into. So taking this and going in under my eyes, which is much harder to get to with that big old sponge. Now, because this cream is very, very thick, you do want to be gentle about how you pull under your eyes because, um, you don't want to be yanking on that delicate skin. Yes, I do make stupid faces. Leave me alone. Spots in my brows. Like to peek through. You can use um the tip of the brush, and the brush hairs can go into any little spots in between hairs that didn't get glued down as well, because maybe you're not great at gluing down your brows, and really covers them well. And then you can kind of use that to blend out that. Again, we want no swiping in the brow area. We want to just let that area uh, uh, someone saw me right now, they would be very disturbed. That's a bad joke, sorry. I've been prepping dad jokes my whole life. No plans to be a dad, but dad jokes, unlock. Around the nostril area, this is especially important if you do have like deeper or wider nostrils, to not miss out on that part. Because when you turn or you look at someone and you talk to them, like that's going to be noticeable. However, there's kind of this fine line that you have to worry about where you worry about getting makeup in there, but not getting it to a point where like makeup settles in there, if you know what I'm talking about. If you have lines, like fine lines in your face, then you'll understand this epic battle that is constantly fought. So you just want the like color in there, but you don't want a ton of product in there. Lips around the lips, I don't quite care about. I also cared I could make this a much crisper line than it is, which I guess I'm doing because I'm doing it, but leave me alone. Just to the side of this, if you're wondering where I'm looking, I had like a like a uh, like lamp set up so that I could do like I used to have where it could show, it could be in front of me and it would be work for videos like this, or I could do top down videos, like I used to do for crochet and stuff like that. However, it broke immediately. The like lamp part like, just popped right off. So gonna have to place that. Okay. So before I set this in powder, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm just gonna go in, make sure everything's relatively even, because the minute you put powder on it, you don't have a lot of control over the distribution of the pigment. So it better be where you want it. You know what I mean? Steaming powder. And I'm gonna be using a lot of powder because creams require more powder than your liquids will, because the liquids do dry down and the creams do not. So I'm going to be powdering this to high heavens so that basically by the time you really want to powder anywhere that creases or you get oily, well, I mean, the oiliness doesn't break down the creams the way that it would break down your liquid and powder products. Um, but anywhere that you tend to crease a lot, you want to powder a lot, extra, extra, because um, it will crease. So what I typically do is I powder what I think is enough, and then I take my hands and I physically go and touch my face. And if I feel anything remotely sticky, I put more powder on it. So it is one of those things that I do find, even for people who don't like their face touched when they get their makeup done, it's something that if I do a cream makeup, I feel like that's one of the things that they don't have to compromise on, but I want them to know why I do it. And if they still don't want their face touched with bare hands, then that's okay. But that's what's going on. And in my makeup kit that I use for doing makeup on other people, I have creams because it's easier to get creams that I can get the entire skin color range in than to buy every single color a of a, I guess I'm thinking this, liquid foundation. Not just easier, but cheaper. Sorry, I'm not flushed with so much cash that I can afford. If someone comes in and they have something that they like to use, obviously I will use that for them. However, I just I can't afford to use liquid foundations for everyone. If they ask me for suggestions, I can always recommend the ones that I really, really, really like. Powder be even is also critical because once you start putting your other colors on top, um, they will stick to places that are stickier, and they will stick to places that are less sticky. That sounds stupid when you have to say it out loud, but it's a true fact. And so you'll get some patchiness. Looks like I'm just like sticking this up my nose, but I'm not. And this is my personal white blender. This is what this one's for. Also, clown white will always make your teeth look incredibly yellow. Just what it is. Okay. So we have our white base going on. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to go and take off any excess. Be really gentle over the brows, as I've said about a quarter of a million times. That's going to take off any excess. Are you plugged in? Still stuck. Okay. I thought you were plugged in the whole time and you were not. You lied to me. Okay, so now I'm going to get some oranges. The part of me always wants to do like Halloween clown type look that I did. Um, I did something like it a while ago, and it was like a Halloween, like orange and black clown-esque type of look. They didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but I don't think I need to do that. Let's see. What do we have here? That's the fine color. Then I have the orange color from, or the orange palette from, that's definitely, right? It's gotta, just gotta. Orange blush in it. This is gonna have some orange in it as well. Yep. start with my lighter colors and move to the darker ones. That's the plan, at least. So, there are a lot of classic um, clown shapes that I'm always inclined to just go to first because it's what in like evokes the clown idea, right? Because I'm going with a white, um, because I have white, uh, where is it? You little bitch. I'm just gonna use this. Okay, so I was gonna say I was gonna use a colorless eye primer, but instead I'm just gonna use this white um, concealer from LA Girl. LA Girl is such a solid brand. Like their foundation mixers are honestly like revolutionary. Like they're still revolutionary. Considering what everyone else is doing, I'm just like because I can have the color correctors. I always like I use the white color corrector a lot for my own foundations, or I did at least before LA. Even still now, because it's harder to find my foundation, but not as hard. Anywho, but the blue color corrector, because so many foundations can be like way too orange, way, 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 way too orange. So the blue corrector is really good and so underrated. So I think I'm going to start with just this kind of like straight, as straight as I can be. Like, come on, you know, setting standards. Which I would have done two different eyes, whatever. That's okay. And I'm gonna go in here. This is different. I have no idea what I'm doing here. It did up and down, side to side. What happens when you don't make the stupid face? People make fun of you for doing the stupid face, and then you stab yourself in the eye. Then who's laughing now? Probably the same person who was laughing at you for making the stupid face, but whatever. Where? Let's see. I might do like a diamond for this one, and then just like a line for this one. No, we'll see. Yeah, let's go for it. It looks fucking ugly. It looks fucking ugly. I'm just kind of rounding out between the points that I made. Same color, and it's going on the tip of my nose. Very clown-like. This is all with the same color. Now, because I'm going on a white base, I'm actually using this lightest color right here, but because it's so light underneath, you can't tell that it's so light based on how much it's showing up. Is that even? I don't know. Sure. And then I'm gonna do kind of a classic shape. That one. So what I'm gonna do now, kind of decided to change direction a little bit. I'm gonna take a brush that can do what I need it to do, which I think is this brush right here. So I'm gonna take an angled liner brush, and I'm gonna start using darker oranges on the outside, which is not typically how I would think about this, but trying something different. See if it works. Take something significantly darker. This. It's just getting the line like in the area, right? Because like this is not even, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smoke that out. So at first I was like, yeah, these are gonna be crisp. You know, you know how it turns out sometimes. So I'm just gonna let it play out. Roll with the punches. Let's see if we can get something cool. If we can't, that's cool too. So I'm gonna take the brush from before and going in with it, softening the edges and blending it out. It's like that. Reshape it a little bit, pull it out to the corner like that. Situation. Also, you'll find that oftentimes products stick a little differently, even once you put like done the whole shebang on top of it. Products tend to lay and stick a little differently on top of a glued down eyebrow, and you have to kind of work around that. And really, you do whatever you want over the covered brow, and then you try to get everything else to kind of work with it. In my experience, I feel like this is looking very like jack o' lantern, which is not a bad thing by any means. It kind of looks like carved out. Just putting a little bit of the darker orange there to pull it in. Avani palette, Avani Greg palette from um, Morphe that I've had for a very long time. At the bottom, they have uh, eyeliners that you can use water, and you can try that. Not sure how that's gonna go. Actually, I won't do that. I don't pretty good. Crash and burn. Because they did that. So here's an orange eyeliner. This is by ColourPop, I think, also. Damn, they just slammed the game. People really like orange. Go. Bad, but I didn't want to clean it up, so that's okay. And the mouth isn't giving very to me. It's giving more like Joker. So I'm gonna go in and at the end of it. You can do liner and lashes with this. I think it would look amazing, and you can do glitter, and you can try all of that. All that I think would look really cool. For me, I think that because of my laziness, I will not do that. But um, I think what really would cement this be a nice orange lip. course, I do not think I right now. I know I have it somewhere, but where? I don't know. So I do have this orange blush that's really bright. This is a brown liquid lipstick that I've had for a really long time, and no one else has used it. So right there, I'm so pissed about it now. Jesus Christ, go away. This would be a full eyeliner. I'm gonna put it on my palette. Now, this one I don't particularly like because the alcohol content is so drying on the lips, so I'm not in love with the idea of putting it on the eyes. However, it looks, I feel like it'll look really cool, so for the sake of beauty, especially with all this shit on, and it's easy to. Eyeliner shape I don't normally go for, which is like a very curved, like kind of whimsical number. Well, but with this one, because I don't, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So once you put lashes on and you put glitter on and you put hair on, if you're putting hair on, I think that this would be a really fun orange clown look. And you can modify it however you want, or you can keep it the same. So I hope you had fun with me, and I'll see you later.